Raider Nation, welcome back to Postgame Monday, right here inside the Silver and Black Lounge. I'm your host, RaiderBen. Before we break down Thursday night's game, we have a developing news story from today's practice. Jackson Powers Johnson went down during the red zone period. He did quickly get back up, but later walked inside with the trainer and never returned. We don't have an official diagnosis or timetable yet, but we'll discuss what this could mean for JPJ, the competition with Caleb Rogers at right guard, and Thursday's game against Houston. Thursday night, the Arizona Cardinals defeated the Las Vegas Raiders by a score of 27-14, but preseason football is about more than just the final score. Kirk Cousins and the starting offense, they look sharp. Fernando Mendoza responded after a nervous beginning. Jack Bech made plays, and Mike Washington exploded for the biggest run of the day. But we also have to discuss Arizona completing 26 of 30 passes, 8 Raider penalties, the secondary struggles, and today's trash can player of the game. We'll hand out our winners, our losers. We'll examine Fernando Mendoza's push for the backup quarterback role. We'll cover the signings of Noah Brown and Florenzo Fudakai, so I probably butchered his name, and look ahead to the joint practice and preseason matchup against Houston. If you're watching live, drop your biggest winner and biggest loser of the game against Arizona in the chat. Replay crew, comment in the comment section. Raider replay with your answers. We'll feature some of the best responses on next week's show. Today's show is sponsored by MMOEXP. Save 8% on in-game currency for any game you play online by using promo code THELOUNGE. Raider Nation, we're only 3 members away from reaching that 60-member goal and unlocking our 3rd Raider jersey giveaway. Our limited time 99-cent founding member promotion ends August the 31st. Beginning September 1st, the entry membership price becomes $1.99 per month, so join the lounge while the promotion remains available. Smash the like button, subscribe, and if you're new, share the stream with Raider Nation. One family, one nation, one lounge. Let's get it. For the cheapest and safest Madden 27 coins and coins across all video games, check out MMOEXP.com. Use code THELOUNGE for 8% off. Thank you, MMOEXP, for sponsoring today's stream.
They didn't have to say much. This is the Raiders, you know. This is one of the most historic, franchises in the NFL with a great history that I want to be a part of. I want to be a part of furthering that history. When you say commitment to excellence, okay, you look at the walls around here, you look at the players on this wall, and there's a history. There's a history of Hall of Fame players here. There's a history of Super Bowls, and that's that.
And with all this situation and all this shit I went through, the biggest thing that I took from it is I don't give a what everybody has to say. Truly, I really don't give a.
Play clock down to 1. Williams batted up in the air, and it is picked. Crosby. He has been a beast.
I do believe that this is a game psychologically of intimidation and of fear. I don't mean cowardly fear, but fear.
But the Chargers and all those teams.
No,
to be honest, I don't like any of them. I hate all teams.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must go down hard.
But the Chargers.
What I call the vertical game. We were going to stretch the field vertically. When we came out of the huddle, we weren't looking for first downs. We didn't want to move the chains. We wanted touchdowns. We wanted the big play, the quick strike. It's number 1 to say you want to do that. It's number 2 to say that you have the players to do it, but it's number 3
To do it.
Hard. Try not to make mistakes, but don't worry about mistakes because there's only one thing that counts. Just win.
Your commitment to excellence and your will to win will endure forever. You were magnificent.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Appreciate you guys for coming by the stream. Guys, do me a favor, man. If you haven't already, smash that like button like its name is Patrick Mahomes, man. Smash it, smash it, smash it. I appreciate you guys, as always, for taking some time out of your Monday. Welcome to Postgame Monday, where we break down last week's matchup, regardless of who the team may be. This week, it was the loss to the Arizona Cardinals. We'll dive deep into that game, but first and foremost, I do want to give a huge shout out to all the members. Once again, I'm only 3 members away from 60 members. And you're going to have your chance to win 3 NFL jerseys for the month of September. So JPJ went down in practice today, guys. It looks like he went down on a red zone drill. The severity of the injury is unknown. But I'm just going to say this, bro. There's a reason. To me, this is the main reason why they weren't really running JPJ at center, and they didn't want to run him at center, dog. His availability is a true concern. You go back to college, he had some availability concerns back in college. And unfortunately, it just seems like, the ugly injury head has, reared its angry head back at JPJ, and he's down. I'm hoping it's nothing too serious. Like I said, we probably won't hear anything. If we hear anything at all, I don't think Kubiak's going to say anything. Kubiak likes to keep everything in-house. So I don't think we're going to hear much about it, but Caleb Rogers looks like he's probably going to get the nod if JPJ can't go. That's just my assumption, even though Caleb Rogers is playing left guard right now. And he's not actually playing right guard. But I think he'll probably get the nod. We'll see how it pans out. Maybe Trey Zune gets in there. It's going to be interesting, man. But, JPJ's injury history is a true concern. And, I'm kind of glad that we got Tyler Linderbaum and we're not having to rely on JPJ, bro, because his injury history, man, it's like I said, man, it's just not good. So shout out to everybody in the chat, man. I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. We got James Freppo in here, bro. Shout out to my brother. Shout out to James Furpo. What up, we the people in the building? Nice to see you. Bruce Willis is in the building. Let me know how you guys feel in the chat, man. How we feeling about Jackson Powers Johnson? Bruce Willis says, so I asked you guys who's the winners and the losers from that preseason game against the Cardinals. Bruce Willis says the losers are the cornerbacks. I don't think anybody's going to deny that. He said another loser is the new defensive coordinator. I forgot his name. That defensive coordinator's name is Rob Leonard, and I'm not a fan of Rob Leonard. So, unfortunately, it is what it is. Like I said, I didn't expect our defense to be very good this year, and Rob Leonard's one of the main reasons why I didn't have a lot of faith in our defense, bro. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of Rob Leonard. Shout out to Raider Paul. Nice to see you, bro. My 2 cents. Always a pleasure to see you guys in here, man. Said hope you guys are having a great Monday. I just got off work about 45 minutes ago. Want to come home and take a shower and get cleaned up and, come on here and talk Raiders. So shout out to my opinion. Can you say Cousins destroyed them for 5 touchdowns? Oh my fucking God. When am I wrong? No. Now, Kirk Cousins did have a great day today. We're going to get into the practice today, but yeah, for Kirk Cousins threw 5 touchdowns, and I think 2 of them were to Brock Bowers. 2 of them were to Jalen Naylor. And I think there was one, I forget the last dude. But yeah, man, Kirk Cousins definitely played his ass off. Excuse me. Kirk Cousins definitely played his ass off, bro. So shout out to Kirk Cousins, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, my opinion, I don't care who the quarterback is, bro. I just want to win. Whoever's the best guy for the job is who I want out there. And, if Kirk Cousins, keeps going out there and playing well and practicing well, then, I'm all for rocking with Cousins. What up, Jack Kenna? Nice to see you, my brother. Always a pleasure. We got Jason in here. What's up with you, Jason Downs, my brother? Nice to see you, man. You guys aren't familiar with Raider First Downs. It's Jason Downs. He does a show with 401 Raider Jeff. Shout out to those guys. Always great content as well. So Jack Kenna said Charles Grant was a winner. Yeah, Charles Grant's one of my winners too. Shout out to Charles Grant. He had a great game. One of the highest ranked Raiders in that game. So what else we got in here, man? SoCal Sal said, salute Ben and Nation listening from work. Shout out to you, SoCal Sal. So let's get into the quick box score. Some of the stats I took down. Kirk Cousins 5 for 6 for 50 yards and a touchdown. Raiders go right down the field in their opening drive. Very impressive, man. Very impressive. I think what a lot of us wanted to see was this offense and, how they progressed and how they were going to look in the game, with the whole offseason, all the hype we had heard about the offense, and the offense came out and they fucking looked the par, bro. Ashton Genty they were opening up holes for Ashton Genty, had a couple decent runs, averaged over 5 yards a carry. You know what I'm saying? Jack Bech, shout out to Jack Bech, man. You feel me? You guys know me. I'm not a huge fan of Jack Bech, but it's a lot of just because of what I saw last year. And I know a lot of you guys were like, man, you can't really judge anybody off last year because that coaching staff was terrible. And I agree with that. You feel me? But there was also a lot of reports from Raider insiders, Ted Nguyen, guys that were at camp, Vinny Bonsignor. They were at camp and they were talking about how Jack Bech was struggling to create separation. So it's good to see that Jack Bech worked on his route running in the offseason. He found ways to get open. Shout out to Raider Ray 916. Saludos. And he looked good. I'm not going to take nothing away from him. At the same time, I'm not going to sit here and crown Jack Bech, relevant now because he had, a decent preseason game. So Voodoo Rangers. But what up, Jolie? Saludos. So Kirk Cousins, the starting offense, they looked lights out, bro. Shout out to Clint Kubiak. Kept it vanilla, but it was also exciting. Shout out to Michael Mayer. I had been hearing about a lot of good things out of Michael Mayer in the offseason. So I'm expecting a major year from Michael Mayer. If the Raiders can find a way to get Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers on the field at the same time, the Raiders are going to have a great opportunity to score a lot of points because, like I said last night on the members only stream, and like I said, if you're not a part of the membership program, join now for 99 cents. We're 3 members away from 60. But I said last night on the membership stream, and I asked this question, do you guys think Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers would be like the best are the best pass catchers on the Raiders? The point I'm trying to make is, bro, I'm trying to say this without sounding stupid. I'd rather have Michael Mayer on the field than Trey Tucker or Jalen Naylor or, Malik Benson or whoever, Dante Thornton, Jack Bech, because I know I can count on Michael Mayer. We don't really know what we're going to get out of some of these wide receivers. And a lot of people believe that our wide receiver core is extremely weak. So with that being said, bro, I would love to see Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer on the field at the same time. And yes, JPJ did get hurt today. Shout out to Jolie. I see you in the chat, bro. Let's see. Appreciate you, my opinion, dude. Appreciate you. There's going to be a lot more backgrounds coming, dude. I'm just getting in my bag, bro. Football season's here. I'm getting in my bag, bro. Appreciate you. I appreciate all you guys, man, for coming by the stream. Like I said, if you haven't already, take 2 seconds, hit that like button, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Raider Ray said Michael Mayer, aka Wreck-It Ralph, bro. Shout out to Michael Mayer looked good, bro. He's definitely making a name for himself, dude. Frank Weber said he's still waiting for my feet to move. Don't worry about my feet, goddammit. You worry about your own feet, Frank Weber, you son of a bitch. Milka Beezy said trade JPJ. He can't stay healthy for shit. We can't rely on him, unfortunately. Yeah, bro, like I was saying earlier, Milka Beezy, the Raiders kind of dodged the bullet by getting Linderbaum and not having to make JPJ our center, bro. Because if JPJ was our center, gang, we'd be really, up shit's creek with no paddle, constantly, having an injured center, an injured center, an injured center. Like, that shit is not going to bode well for us. So, unfortunately, like I said, I don't know. Nobody knows the extent of the injury. So it could be something minor. But it's just the injury word. It's terrible, bro, when you talk about JPJ. You feel me? Because he just has a history of it. So I'm not gonna overreact, but it's concerning for sure. Let's see. We the people said JPJ is starting to enter the danger zone. Can't stay healthy is a big deal, bro. Your best ability is availability, bro. I know that shit sounds cliche as shit, bro, but it's true, bro. Like, you have to be available. And if you're not available, you're probably not going to make the team. It's just the way it is, bro. No matter how good you are, you could be the best player in the NFL, dude. If you're hurt all the damn time, what does it matter? You know what I mean? Shout out to JC. So I'm really going to give Bech a pass on last year. As much as people come at him, there is so much to it. If you ever lost a loved one, you know it takes some time to mourn. And yeah, for sure. And, you know, I know Jack Bech was dealing with a lot of the, you know, the personal shit. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think he lost like his brother. At like it was like a New Orleans thing. I forget exactly. Don't quote me on it. But yeah, man, he lost his brother or something like that to some crazy ass shit, bro. I definitely feel for the kid. So no, you're right, bro. I mean, we seen how losing loved ones affected Jamarcus Russell. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying Jamarcus Russell was going to be any good. Like I don't think any of us saying for sure Jack Bech is going to be any good. But the point I'm trying to make is, bro, like Jamarcus Russell came out and told everybody that his whole family's like people that he loved were dying left and right, and it affected him. You know, and so I get what you're saying for sure, Jason Pacelli. Raider Ray said, like, subscribe, found your channel, been tapping in every now and then. I appreciate you, bro. Much love, Raider Ray. Appreciate you, dog. Raider Ray said, how can I get involved with the Sacramento Raiders chapter? That's going to be a question for Jack Kenna. I am in the 209. Joel Lee said, JPJ's got to chill, bro. He was diving headfirst in a preseason game. He just plays with reckless abandon, Joel Lee. That's what everybody loves about JPJ is just the way he plays, you know what I'm saying? His mindset, like he's got that Raider mindset, but you know, it's proven to hurt him, like literally and figuratively, like he's getting injured by playing like that. So, you know, it is what it is, man. And I had somebody comment on like, I think one of my videos, they say, we got to stop saying it is what it is. I have no control over somebody else, bro. So it is what it is, bro. Just because people are fucking still going through Josh McDaniels PTSD of saying it is what it is and shit like that, I'm sorry, bro, but I have no control over JPJ or his health. So if he keeps getting injured, bro, it just is what it is, gang. He ain't gonna be on the team very much longer, bro. That's just the way it's got to be. My opinion said we need to get rid of these soft mofos, get tougher. You know, another thing is a lot of people have been saying is like, if the injuries keep stacking up, like why are we even, you know, keeping Deuce Gruden around? Because Deuce Gruden's been the strength and conditioning coach since John Gruden came back a second time. So he's made it through multiple regimes, and you know, the injuries aren't clearing up, they're getting worse. You feel me? So yeah, there's gonna be some questions about Deuce Gruden for a lot of people. I mean, a lot of people already have questions about him, dude. I don't really look too much into it, but no, for sure. Jack Bech not Jack Bech, but Deuce Gruden's got to start getting questioned soon, bro, with all these injuries. Jason said, in regards to Jack Bech, he never had time to just mourn and take a deep breath. Brother dies 2 weeks later, Senior Bowl, then to the combine, then to the draft, then to OTAs, then to training camp, and then 18-week season. Bro, I didn't know it was 2 weeks after he died, bro, that he had to go to the combine or the Senior Bowl. I didn't know it was that soon. So yeah, I can definitely agree. I could definitely agree and understand what you're saying now, Jason. I didn't know it was that soon, bro. Jason said, Ben, there is now a Manteca chapter. Nice, bro. Nice, bro. You a part of it, Jason? Milkabeezy said, Ben, what did you think about the undrafted free agency in Sloan? He looks like a baby Max Crosby. And shout out to Saturday Morning Inspection. They do a channel. They do content. They did a Cian Sloan breakdown, bro, and they were calling him baby Max. He looks good. You know, I'm gonna stay with the wait and see approach, Milkabeezy, to see how he looks on a consistent basis. But in his first game and his first test, he looked damn good, bro. And he's got a motor. You can see the motor, bro. You feel me? Like, you can definitely see the motor. You know, he had that play where he chased the running back down from the backside. That was a very athletic, you know, Max Crosby type play. And then obviously, you know, he jumped on the back of the Arizona Cardinals quarterback and took him down. And, you know, he was this fucking close, dude, to another sack later in that game, man. But no, for sure, I fuck with Cian Sloan, and we're gonna need as many of these pass rushers as we can get, bro. You feel me? Like, you can never have too many pass rushers, and I know some people were saying that Cian Sloan could be a steal for the Raiders, like when we got him as an undrafted free agent. Like, bro, this dude's somebody we need to watch out for. And in his first NFL work, you know, he looked good. So, see what else we got in here, man. Shout out to Cool Kev. I see you, gang. My brother, Cool Kev, is in the building, gang. My boy. Jolie said, nah, our team hasn't been that injured, though, relative to other teams, in my opinion. No, you're right. We haven't had a ton of injuries, but like when we get injured, bro, it's like our our main players go down. You know, Max goes down, Brock goes down, Colton goes down, JPJ goes down. We're losing like our talent. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, we're losing our elite talent, bro, to injuries, gang. So Deuce is there until Gruden's case is settled. Could be a thing. Let's see what else we got. See if I'm caught up to the chat. Why does it keep changing? Why does what keep changing? I'm not exactly sure. I don't know, bro. This fucking comment section's been bugging out, bro. Like, it's like auto-correcting. Like, they like Cool Kev. We the people, I think, put Cool Kev and it said tomorrow, dude. Like, I don't know, bro. It's stupid, gang. I've been trying to figure out. I don't know why YouTube does that, bro. It's fucking retarded. All right, so we talked about the starting offense. Kirk Cousins, Fernando Mendoza came into the game, 10 for 16 for 97 yards and a touchdown. You know, Fernando Mendoza, we talked about him on the podcast on Friday. He just looked like he was ready to go out there and play, man. You know what I'm saying? You've seen the ability to turn his back to the defense on a play action, especially, you know, under center, and turn around and throw the ball. Shout out to Jerry Fuentes, bro, my boy. One shout out to Willie Wayne. And that's impressive, bro. Like I said, the offset I formation, shit like that is typically stuff that Fernando Mendoza never really ran in college. So for him to come out, he looked, like I said, he looked decent, bro. Shout out to Fernando. Aidan O'Connell, 4 for 13 for 85 yards. He's up there with trash can player of the game, dude. Aidan O'Connell looked like shit. And one of his, I think like 50 yards of that fucking, his 85 yards came on one play. Mike Washington, 6 carries for 63 yards, including that 53-yard run. We talked about Ashton Genty, 3 catches for Jack Bech for 25 yards. All 3 of those catches were on third downs to move the sticks. Shout out to Jack Bech, man. He gets a game ball. You feel me? Shout out to Jack Bech for getting a game ball. Raiders offense, 317 total yards. Penalties, man. This is a killer, man. Raiders had 8 penalties for 75 yards. A lot of them were pre-snap penalties, bro, and shit that, you know, we should be able to maintain and keep to a minimum. They're like attention penalties, bro. We're just not paying attention. That's really what like pre-snap penalties remind me of, bro. Or they make me think of. They just make me think they're just dudes aren't really paying attention. They're not locked in. So Arizona quarterbacks completed 26 for 30 passes, 220 yards and 3 touchdowns. Time of possession, Arizona possessed the ball for 34 minutes and 25 seconds compared to the Raiders 25 minutes and 35 seconds. So that's pretty much the main stats. Starting offense passed its test. Let me know how you guys felt about the starting offense when they got on the field. Cousins completed 5 of 6 attempts, finishing the only starting unit drive with a 13-yard touchdown to Michael Mayer. Kirk Cousins didn't get touched. The starting offensive line kept Kirk Cousins clean the entire time. Genty over 5.3 yards per carry. And Kubiak, he showed multiple personnel groups on that drive. You guys seen some 12 personnel, some 13 personnel, some 22 personnel. We've seen a lot of different personnel groups for the Raiders, which was very interesting. I thought, like I said, bro, there was some creativity to a vanilla offense. And that's why I said earlier, bro, like it may have been vanilla, but it was creative. You know what I mean? And it looked interesting. Like the Raiders finally knew what they were doing. They finally got their head out of their ass. So shout out to the 20 people, bro. We got 11 likes. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Take 2 seconds to do so. We're 4 likes away from 15 likes. The goal for these streams are typically around 25 to 30 likes, man. So if you guys haven't hit the like button, please take 2 seconds to do so. Thank you, Alpocalypse. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Let's see what we got in the chat. Cool Kev said Aidan is playing bad enough to stay at QB3. Yeah, dude, he didn't look good, and I hate to make him a trash can player. You feel me? And back that truck up on him. You know what I'm saying? Where's my fucking my dump truck sound effect at? But yeah, bro, he definitely looked bad. I don't really know what it was, to be honest. But at the end of the day, it's not good. Not good, bro. He looked uncomfortable. He looked like he was a deer in headlights. He kind of reminded me. I saw glimpses of fucking Matt McGloin in that fucking preseason game. Dude. I'm not gonna lie, bro. He was showing me a lot of like Matt McGloin type vibes, giving me a lot of Matt McGloin type vibes. Raiders have loved to get penalties since the 70s. Yeah, bro, it's just the mindset, in my opinion. You know, the Raiders have that smash mouth physical mindset, and you know, I've said this before. Like, unfortunately, that way of playing in the NFL just it don't last, bro. You can't sustain victories and winning in the NFL by playing like that. That's why when people be like the Raider way, like I love the Raider way. We all love the Raider way, bro. But the Raider way isn't how we're gonna win the league anymore, bro. Because the Raider way is smash mouth football, dude, and smash mouth football don't get you very far anymore. So that shit get you penalties, bro. Shout out to Jerry. He said every year the Raiders have them pre-snap penalties. Yeah, bro. It's just something that we can't seem to get over, bro, for whatever reason. It's weird. It don't matter what who the coach is. The penalties are always there. Coach K finna clean up those penalties. Yeah, bro, you could tell Kubiak was pissed, bro. He was fucking pissed, gang. I am not gonna lie to you. Cool Kev said the O-line keeps Geno in dirt baths all season. This is fucking crazy. Mendoza's gonna be him. I have a lot of expectations for Fernando, bro. I'm not gonna lie. My expectations are high for the kid. I just don't want to rush him. Like I said, the only way I want him to play this year is if, you know, he goes out in camp and earns the job and he looks significantly better than Kirk Cousins. Otherwise, bro, I just let the kid develop, and once he comes out, let him play when he's ready. All right. Penalties happen. Just got to keep them to a minimum. Exactly, bro. You can't let penalties define you. You know what I'm saying? Jerry said, nah, Ben, the Raider way still exists. It's just other teams that do, and they do it to us and get away with it. Yeah, I mean, but the point I'm trying to make is, bro, is I'm sure you guys are understanding. Like the Raiders, like what Jack Tatum did to Stingley back in the day, like he would have went to jail for that in this era of NFL. If, you know, George Atkinson hit people the way he used to hit people, dude, he'd go to jail. The point I'm trying to make is, bro, is like football has changed, and what made the Raiders great back in their heyday, bro, it's not going to make them great now because football has changed. That's pretty much the only point I'm trying to make, gang. Appreciate you, Milk and Beezy. Definitely hit the like button if you haven't already. My opinion said I want to see Fernando drop 5 touchdowns on the defense, then he can play. Once again, man, shout out to Kirk Cousins for dropping 5 touchdowns on the defense today. But you have to keep in mind, too, it was 5 touchdowns, but they were all red zone period touchdowns. It wasn't like he drove down the field and scored 5 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? He literally had red zone drills. But I'm not taking nothing away from him. 5 touchdowns is 5 touchdowns. But I just want to make sure to put some context on it, that it was all red zone drills that he threw touchdowns on. But that's, I think, you know, one of the areas where the Raiders need the most improvement, dude, is the red zone. Dude, we've been terrible in the red zone forever. Since before Derek, with Derek, and after Derek, bro, we've been terrible, you know? So Fernando Mendoza responded after a nervous beginning. Mendoza opened up the game 1 for 3 for 9 yards and admitted that initially that the game felt fast. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That first pass that Fernando Mendoza threw, bro, like his first snap, I was worried, gang. I ain't gonna like, oh, bro, he looks like he's scared. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, he cleaned it up. You know, on that second drive, he looked significantly better. His next possession, completely different. 4 for 5, including a tight window on a 19-yard completion to Malik Benson. That was that beautiful play that we saw where he ran the play action off. He ran the play action and hit Malik Benson right between 4 defenders, bro. That was definitely an impressive throw. And then also threw a 6-yard touchdown to Jack Bech. One thing that I love about Fernando, bro, is he just plays with intimidation. He plays with anticipation, bro. Like, he knows what the defense wants to do. He understands how his receivers want to run the route, and he just anticipates them. You know, when at the end of his drop, you know, say if this guy's supposed to be, you know, 15 yards down the field, when he's in, you know, his fifth step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he's gonna throw it no matter what. And that's a trait that not a lot of quarterbacks have, especially young quarterbacks, bro, that are especially rookie quarterbacks, bro, to anticipate and have the trust in your teammates like that is really impressive, you know. So shout out to that. But I'm not super surprised, because I think one of Fernando Mendoza's biggest assets is he's just a smart person. You feel me? He's very smart. He loves learning. He loves getting better. And he loves being challenged, you know what I'm saying? Like, he welcomes a challenge, you know, and I think, you know, the Raiders trying to get him to learn how to play under center and stuff is a challenge that Fernando Mendoza truly embraces, you know, because if you go back and you pay attention to Fernando Mendoza in college, like, he always wanted to earn everything. Nothing was given, you know. That's why it's like almost like a match made in heaven with Fernando and Clint Kubiak, because Clint Kubiak has that same mindset in terms of, you know, everything is earned, nothing is given. We want to win as a team. We don't want to win with and Fernando Mendoza is like the best person to, you know, instill that mindset. You know what I mean? So it's very impressive from a young kid. And you guys can, and other people can go out there and be like, oh, well, this quarterback played better and this quarterback played better as a rookie with, I think, was it Stinson Bennett and, you know, Drew Aller and them. Bro, they put the fucking backups in, bro, like almost like at the beginning of the game, bro. Like the Cardinals were literally playing their fucking starters, dude. Their starters on offense and fucking defense outside of fucking old buddy Brissett, like the entire first half. The whole time Mendoza was out there, he was running against ones from Arizona's defense, bro. So, I mean, I don't think Budda Baker was out there, but the rest of those fools was out there, bro. So, like I said, at the end of the day, bro, very impressive. Very impressive. The game didn't look too big for Fernando. I think that's the biggest thing, bro. It just didn't look too big. He looked comfortable. So I'm excited. I think all of us are excited to see what Fernando Mendoza can do. Shout out to 20 people, man. We're 1 like away from 20 likes, man. Appreciate you guys. Jerry said, hey, I'll take those red zone touchdowns. We trash. That's where I was getting at for sure, Jerry. I'm definitely going to take them. I think our red zone work is probably what we've been needing to work on the most over the last decade, bro. I'm not going to lie. My opinion said Fernando is going to win us a Super Bowl. Bank that. I love that, bro. I believe that too, gang. I truly believe that the Raiders are going to win a Super Bowl in Vegas. You know, the house always wins. That's the only thing that I did like about the move to Vegas. I feel like the Raiders are probably going to win a Super Bowl for surely out there in Vegas, because it's the city, it's the capital of the entertainment. You feel me? Entertainment capital of the world. You feel me? I mean, at the end of the day, bro, I feel like that's where we're gonna win it. So it is what it is. As much I hate it, and I don't like them being there, and I don't embrace. I'm not fucking with the Vegas move. You know, it is what it is, man. They're there. Shout out to the 22 people, man. We hit 20 likes, man. Appreciate you guys. Said, man, you guys keep hitting the like button, bro. Let's get up to 25 likes. I really appreciate all of you guys. All right, so let's continue to move on. I think Trey Tucker will have more yards and touchdowns than Naylor. I like Trey Tucker a lot, bro. Like, you guys know, I'm definitely on the Trey Tucker bandwagon. I've been fucking with Trey Tucker since we drafted him. I know a lot of people have been done with Trey Tucker for a while, you know, but I expect a big year out of Trey Tucker, bro. I think he could have more yards and touchdowns than Naylor. The only thing is, though, is that Trey Tucker, how can I say this? Naylor's more the consistent wide receiver than Trey Tucker. Trey Tucker's good, but he's more hit and miss. Jalen Naylor's like more the sure thing. And Jalen Naylor has a rapport with Kirk Cousins, you know, so I feel like that alone is going to get Jalen Naylor most of the targets. I think Trey Tucker's probably going to have, I think he might have more touchdowns. I don't know if he'll have more yards. I think Jalen Naylor is going to get the bulk of the looks on offense, in my opinion. If Kirk Cousins looks away from Brock, he's probably going to look to Jalen Naylor first. And like I said, I just think it's because of you know, the whole rapport thing. They played with each other before. So Jerry said, you can say this: John Gruden and Derek Carr era just better. I mean, a lot of people don't like John Gruden, and that's cool. You feel me? Sorry, my girl just texted me. Anyways, John Gruden definitely got the Raiders back to winning, bro. His fucking draft wasn't great. His drafts weren't great, but at the end of the day, bro, he was able to win, you know, and that's really what it comes down to, bro, is it's just trying to win the game. And, you know, at the end of the day, bro, there's only 2 coaches I seen get the Raiders back to the playoffs in my entire life, and that was John Gruden twice and Jack Del Rio. So that's the main reason why I would love to have John Gruden back if we didn't have Kubiak. I said in the offseason, if I could choose, you know, a head coach, if it's not Kubiak, give me John Gruden again. You know, so shout out to John Gruden. Raider Race, I love it here, and nothing negative being spoken the whole 20 to 25 minutes I've been here. Hashtag Raiders, hashtag smash that like button. Shout out to my boy Raider Ray, bro. We've turned a new leaf, bro. I'm just chilling with you guys, man. Like I said, you guys are the heart and soul of my show, bro. So what you guys say in the chat, and you guys keeping that chat moving is what keeps my show rolling. Jack Kenneth said, Ben and the chat, who do you want to see more of in preseason game 2? Me, Hemby. Myself, everybody that I wanted to see play pretty much played. Want to see more of. I don't know, bro. That's a good question. I don't really know, bro. I don't really have anybody that I'm excited to see more of. Like, I guess you could say a running back with Hemby, but I'm not excited to watch Hemby. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'd rather see more Mike Washington than see Hemby. How could you hate Gruden as a Raider fan? A lot of people hate Gruden, bro. A lot of people do. What's up with Bowers? So we the people, we talked about it yesterday, members only. You guys join that membership group, bro. Join the membership only live streams. We talked about it yesterday, man. Brock Bowers just went out with a personal reason. So he wasn't injured. He sat out for personal reasons. I don't know if he had like an issue with the family or something, but Brock Bowers didn't get injured. He was personal reasons. So he's injured too. No, he's not injured. Brock Bowers not injured. We the people. He sat out. He sat out for personal reasons. Clint Kubiak talked about it at the presser yesterday. Was Traydon Stukes out there? Traydon Stukes was running with the ones today, bro. Traydon Stukes was getting a lot of work with the ones today. Malik Benson getting a lot of work with the ones today. So it's going to be interesting to see, man. Like I said, there's a lot of young kids on this team that have a true chance to be something special. So we'll see. We'll see how many of these young kids make the roster, bro. But this roster is extremely lacking of depth, bro. So I feel like a lot of these young kids are going to be able to carve out, real good roles for themselves. So he has tape on one of his knees, though. I mean, it could be he could have tape on his knee. We the people. All I can go is off what Kubiak said. Kubiak said that Brock Bowers ain't got no injury. So maybe it's a precautionary thing. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. Fernando Mendoza. Continue with my Fernando Mendoza notes. Fernando Mendoza finished without an interception, showed command of the huddle, coverage recognition, and pocket movement. Pocket movement was severely underrated. I love the way Fernando Mendoza's footwork. He's got great footwork, dude. Obviously better than my footwork because I'm spinning my body right now. My legs don't move. What up, 805? What up, Khalil King? Khalil King, JPJ went down a red zone drill today. There's no really news on it. The severity of Jackson Powers Johnson's injury is to be determined. So they said he did walk off with the trainer. So that's a good thing. But after he walked off with the trainer, he never came back to the field. So, we have to just pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Pay attention. We'll see what Clint Kubiak has to say here shortly. When he comes back on the presser, probably tomorrow, we'll hear what he has to say. But I'm hoping it's nothing serious. My opinion said Brock Bowers tape on his knee and he scored 2 touchdowns. Yeah, Brock Bowers was eating today, bro. 2 of them touchdowns. Cooking, man. Shout out to 805. Nice to see you, my brother. Alfredo's in the building. My brother, hopefully you guys are all doing good. You guys are having a great Monday. Appreciate all you guys for sliding through the stream. But yeah, man, back to what I was saying about Fernando Mendoza's footwork, man. He's great feet, bro. I don't know if people were questioning his feet when he came out of college, but he's got great feet, bro. Where his feet are is where the ball goes. And that's how you're supposed to throw the football in the National Football League. Like, if you want to throw the ball to the right, you need to find a way to get your footwork to the right. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to throw the ball down the middle of the field, you got to find a way to get your feet facing towards the middle of the field. And he did a great job of that, bro. Like I said, there was so many good things that I could praise about Fernando Mendoza. But at the same time, I'm not going to try to get too overly excited about a preseason game. So it was an encouraging debut, guys, nonetheless, from Fernando Mendoza. But we all know he's not a finished product just yet. So we'll see how, Kirk Cousins, or not Kirk Cousins, but Clint Kubiak continues to develop him. Like I said, I think I can speak for us all when I say we're all excited to see what Fernando Mendoza turns into. I just don't think it's going to be right now. I think he's probably going to sit this year. But, you know, who knows, man? If he goes out there and keeps balling out, you know, you never know, bro. You never really know what's going to happen, bro. I can't predict the future. I ain't got a crystal ball. Jack Kenneth said, dang, no depth, Ben. This has been the depth in years. So sad on previous teams. I don't know if we have depth, bro. We don't really have a ton of depth, if I'm just being honest with you, gang. Like, if we lose a linebacker, we're screwed. We don't even have talent at wide receiver to even consider us having, to even think about us having depth. You know, we have one running back outside of Ashton Genty. I mean, I'm not sure what depth you see, Jack Kenna, but there's not a lot of depth on this team, dude. Like, we have a lot of bodies. We have a lot of bodies, bro, but that doesn't mean they're starters in the league like these dudes are depth. Dude, there's a lot of question marks across this entire roster, bro, and that's the reason why I have the Raiders between 3 and 5 wins. You can have a bunch of bodies. Bodies don't mean depth, though, bro. There's a difference between depth and bodies. The Raiders just have a ton of bodies. That's all that shit is. What up, Circus Raider, my brother? Always a pleasure. Nice to see you, my boy. We should use both Cousins and Mendoza in games. No, I don't think that's really gonna work, because teams typically ain't using 2 quarterbacks in a game, and if they do use 2 quarterbacks, one of them's like a Taysom Hill type fucking quarterback, to where he's like a fucking running back. You know what I'm saying? / wide receiver / tight end / quarterback. Fernando Mendoza is a quarterback and Kirk Cousins is a quarterback. You know, I don't think there's a world where they would play 2 in a regular season game. My opinion, Fernando really does look like he's in the right position. He is smooth. Handoffs look smooth. Even fooled me once. Yeah, bro, that play action pass that he threw to Malik Benson across the middle in between 4 defenders is extremely impressive, bro. Extremely impressive. And I thought he still had I thought he handed the ball to the running back. Ern said the Raiders suck. Yeah, for sure, gang. We suck fucking for 20 years. Let's see what else we got in the chat. I think that's it, right? Nope. Raider Ray said, shout out to Teron Johnson, Sacramento native. Wish him a solid season for us. I didn't know Teron Johnson was from Sacramento, dude. That's interesting. Milka Beezy said, too bad Wilkins wanted to kiss his teammates. We could have had a nasty D-line. Yeah, bro, it's weird. It's definitely weird, bro. He said, true, Ben. I thought about that after. Yeah, bro, if we had like Kirk Cousins and then like Fernando Mendoza was like a Taysom Hill type quarterback, then yeah, I could definitely see it, bro. Besides the therapy bowl, I was proud of Fernando. So I thought it was a hospital pass too, bro. Initially, I thought it was a hospital pass. But then when I went back and watched the highlights and shit, bro, Mike Washington has to stop running. Mike Washington ran himself into a coffin ball, dude. Mike Washington should have also understood that was a cover 2. It was a zone. And what do you do in zone? You sit in the zone and you keep running against man. Mike Washington didn't really understand cover 2, and neither did Fernando Mendoza for that play. But Mike Washington ran himself into a big hit. You feel me? If he would have just sat in that zone and turned around and just showed his number to Fernando Mendoza, he would have never got hit. You feel me? I'm not putting this on either player because it was both of their fault. But we ain't going to sit here and put that entire play on Fernando Mendoza like Mike Washington didn't see that was a cover 2 and understand you have to sit in the zone, bro. It's a learning experience for 2 young players. You feel me? And like I said, bro, in zone, you sit, and man, you run. Zone, you sit, man, you run, bro. And he thought it was man or whatever. Fernando thought it was man, pre-snap, whatever. Dude, he kept running and got fucking blasted. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it goes on both players. I'm not going to point the finger at one without pointing the finger at the other one. Did Fernando Mendoza throw the pass? Yes. But did Mike Washington keep running and got himself hit? Yes. So, you know, it is what it is, gang. Willie Wayne said, Wilkins, a huge disappointment. Nah, bro, another high-priced free agent, bro, that we brought in and didn't do shit. Add him to the long list. Add him to the long list of fucking high-priced free agent, bro. You know what I'm saying? Jerry said, bro, Mendoza faked the camera out on that play to Ben. That's what I'm trying to say, Jerry. It was a great play. Especially, you know what's the most impressive thing about that throw to Malik Benson? Like the whole play, it's because he's never done that. He's never done that. I don't think he's played in single back before, but he's never played in a pro style offset I formation with the fullback and a running back behind him. And he has to go play action under center. Like there was so many things that he had never done before in that one play. And he made an extremely high level throw, dude, to Malik Benson in between 4 defenders, dude. That's extremely impressive. You know, everybody, I think anybody that's seen that throw will tell you that's an extremely impressive throw. That's an anticipatory throw. He threw it right to where Malik Benson can get it and nobody else can get it, over the linebacker and right underneath the safety. Just a great overall throw. Shout out to the 30 people, man. We're 3 likes away from 25 likes. If you haven't hit that like button, please take 2 seconds to do so. It helps the channel more than you know. And if you haven't already, man, if you enjoy the content, subscribe to the Silver and Black Lounge. And if you want to help the channel a little bit further, man, join the membership program. 3 members away from 60 members. And once we hit that 60 member mark, guys, we're going to be giving away 3 NFL jerseys of your choice, man. So make sure you guys tap in to the membership program. Shout out to you guys, man. Wilkins is a wild one. In camera, shoving his finger up a grown man booty. Yeah, bro, I was weird, bro. And he was like grabbing dudes from the back and shit. He's a weird one, bro. He's a weird one. You know what's crazy, gang, is Nutty Raider Nate was like the first motherfucker on here talking about how immature Christian Wilkins was. Nutty Raider Nate was like, yeah, bro, Christian Wilkins has immaturity issues and blase. And I didn't really look too much into it. You know, I had my silver and black shades on. But, you know, when it was all said and done, Nutty Raider Nate was right, bro. You know, I mean, you guys remember when they won the national title, when Clemson won the national title, and he gave his coach a wet willy, like while he was doing a press conference, or not the press conference, but the post game, like they were talking to him post game, and he gave him a wet willy. Dude's always been a little on the immature side, bro. But you know, it is what it is, man. He don't play for the Raiders no more. Frank said Mendoza did more than just focus on his job. He was well aware of the 21 other players that are on the field. For a rookie, that was quite impressive. Exactly. I'm sure you're picking up what I'm putting down, Frank Weber. Definitely impressive game. Talking about Mike Washington, that hit didn't stop dude for busting one for 50. I think the 50-yard run was before the hit, though. I think the hit came after the 50-yard run. We got something out of Chandler. I think he's talking about Chandler Jones. We got a little bit out of him. You know what I'm saying? We got that. I mean, he fucking won us that Patriot game. Or fucking, what'd he do? He fucking picked off, what'd he do? He fucking caught the interception, the backwards pass. Chandler Jones caught that shit and stiff-armed Buddy into the field at Allegiant, bro. That was great, bro. But, you know, shout out to Chandler Jones, bro. Before he went bonkers, dude, he was decent for us, bro. Shout out to Kylo King, finna go to an interview for a second job. Nation, wish me luck, bro. Shout out to Khalil, bro. Best of luck to you, my brother. You got the nation on your side, my boy. Shout out to Zay. I see you down there in the chat, bro. Saludos. My opinion, that fake was the best thing about that play. That was so pro, holy shit. Oh, that was so pro, holy shit. Yeah, that was a great throw, bro. That was definitely a great throw. Jerry said, I'm saying when the game gets slower for Mendoza, it's over. Watch out, bro. That's what I'm trying to say, gang. That's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. Like he already understands what defenses want to do. You feel me, to him, and he understands. Like I said, the anticipation thing is really where it's at, dog. Like he just knows what they want to do pre-snap. Anticipation comes with a lot of you just knowing what a defense wants to do to you, bro. And that's a test to his knowledge, bro. He's a smart guy. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Fernando. Yeah, I agree though. When the game slows down a little bit, he's going to be deadly. Shout out to 30 people, man. 7 likes away from 30 likes, 2 from 25. Zay said we're going to find out what our receivers is like for real tomorrow, because I think tomorrow is the joint practices with Houston. But let's be real, Zay. I mean, we all know our wide receivers is kind of mid. You feel me? And mid may even be an overstatement. You feel me? Or an understatement. Like, they're not very good at all. So I feel like the Raiders are going to be relying a lot on their tight ends this year. So, but yeah, man, shout out to you though, Zay. Appreciate you for sliding through. Raider Ray says picking his kids up from school, try to stay in tune. No, you good, bro. Just focus on the road, bro. Focus on the road. Holler at us once you're done driving and shit. Jack Kenneth said Grant opened up that big run up for Washington. Yeah, for surely, dog. For surely. Zay said tomorrow's practice is going to show a lot about our defensive tackles. Yeah, man. Tonka Hemingway was underwhelming, but at the same time, you know, the entire defense was underwhelming. Max Crosby didn't play. I think if Max Crosby's on this field with Tonka Hemingway, he's probably a lot better. Like, he's been in practice. Like, Tonka Hemingway's pretty much been next to Max Crosby, and I think that is as good as Tonka can be. You know, it's being next to Max Crosby is going to make him that much better. You know what I'm saying? So, shout out to Tonka. Keep working. I'm excited to see what he can still bring to the team, bro. I'm not all out on Tonka Hemingway because he had a bad preseason game where, he didn't even have his teammate next to him, his brother next to him. Like Tonka Hemingway and Max Crosby have been, working out all off season together, getting into the building early. So, one of them was there and one of them wasn't. So, I didn't expect Tonka Hemingway to come in and be, the main pass rusher, the main dude on the defensive line. We all know Max Crosby's going to be that, and he wasn't there on Thursday, and you've seen what it led to. All right, so we talked about Fernando Mendoza. Let's talk about the quarterback 2 job. Aidan O'Connell completed only 4 of 13 passes. He did produce an explosive 41-yard completion to E.J. Williams, but the overall production wasn't as consistent as Mendoza. So the question is, do you guys think, right now, who do you guys have as the backup, Aidan O'Connell or Fernando Mendoza? Like, are we gonna judge the future of the backup quarterback off one game? Or are you guys waiting to see what Aidan O'Connell can do? Because typically Aidan O'Connell struggles in the preseason. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I definitely believe that Fernando Mendoza is probably going to be the number 2 quarterback. I think a lot of us expect that. So, Jay said, I don't know why people keep talking about trading AOC. He's got no trade value. LMAO, I just keep him as quarterback 3. I mean, it just depends. He can earn some trade value if he plays good in the preseason, but no, bro. That last preseason showing, bro, hell no. All right, so what else do I got here? Jack Bech, 3 catches on 3 targets, a 6-yard touchdown for Fernando Mendoza, catches all 3 of his passes on 3rd down, contested catches. Shout out to Jack Bech. Mike Washington, 53-yard run. That's the Raiders' longest preseason running play since 2017. I think a lot of us are pretty much out on Laube. So I don't know if Laube's even going to make the team. I ain't going to lie. He might make it just because he can play special teams, gang. I ain't going to lie. But outside of that, I don't think Laube's got much value to this team, if I'm just being honest with y'all, bro. Jerry said, look, I don't mind Mendoza taking the back seat for now. He has to feed his brain before he gets in there. No, for sure, gang. He's definitely got to make sure he's in the right spot mentally. SoCal Sal said, AOC is the 3rd string until they play the Chiefs, a.k.a. the Chiefs killer. Nah, for surely, dog. For sure, he definitely be fucking the Chiefs up. Mendoza's taking the back seat will benefit us for sure going forward. Yeah, bro, I'm with you. Like I said, I just want the best opportunity to win. If Mendoza's ready to play now, bro, get his ass out there, bro. My opinion, Salaube will make the team. I think he will, bro, but he just doesn't bring nothing to our team, bro. He doesn't. To me, he doesn't bring shit to the team, gang. But, it is what it is, bro. Obviously, he's got something that coaching staff, likes, so. All right, so what else do I have here? The secondary, bro. The secondary was shit, dude. You know what the biggest thing that bothered me about the secondary, guys, is that we had heard all this preaching of turnovers and preaching of turnovers and preaching of turnovers. That defense that showed up Thursday night, like, I get it. It's preseason and they're going to be vanilla. But that don't take away the mindset of wanting to take the ball away, bro. Like, there was no, let's go, try to get interception. Let's try to create a turnover. There was none of that, bro. Like, the defense, the secondary looked like a Patrick Graham secondary. And that's what truly concerns me about Rob Leonard. And since, he just came out from under Patrick Graham, my concern is he gonna take a lot of Patrick Graham's secondary coverage and make it his own, bro? Please don't do that, bro. Literally, fucking Patrick Graham runs a defense where he literally just lets shit happen and they ride a tackle. Like, that's cool and all, dude. That's cool and all, bro, when you're not the 30th ranked defense. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, they're terrible. That don't work, bro. Hezekiah Massis, all these interceptions we heard about, he was just letting shit happen, bro. Like, oh, just let him catch it. Just let him catch it and tackle him. Let's not contest nothing. There was no contest, bro. Those wide receivers was tearing our ass up, dude. That one receiver was fucking us up. I think that one receiver scored 2 touchdowns on Jermod McCoy. I mean, Jermod McCoy ain't played football in over a year because of his injury, bro, but he was frying our ass, dude. Nobody was even trying to stop it. That's the issue, bro, is there was no oomph, you're not going to keep shitting on me attitude, bro. They were just okay with getting shit on that entire game, and that's not okay, bro. That's not fucking okay, dude. Arizona scored on their first 5 possessions and didn't even punt until the 4th quarter, bro. Jacoby Brissett, 5 for 5, and Gardner Minshew started 11 for 11. Dude, that's fucking unacceptable, bro. Preseason or not, gang, that is fucking unacceptable, bro. You know, and that's one thing, bro, when the defensive line can't get there, you know, that secondary is going to get exposed, and Rob Leonard's going to have to come up with some kind of scheme, because that secondary just, I mean, at the same time, though, they did say they ran a lot of man. They wanted to see who could play man, but still, man or no man, bro, like, that was fucking terrible, bro. I don't think I've seen that bad of a defensive game, even in a preseason game from the Raiders in a long time, bro. Like, at least the Raiders had something to keep me in tune to the game, like Fernando Mendoza playing almost the entire, you know, first, second, and third quarter. Like, that fucking kept me encouraged to watch the whole game. But, dude, that was a shit show, bro. I don't know what we were doing on defense. I don't know what the game plan was. And like I said, vanilla or no vanilla, bro, there was just none of that shit that I heard, you know, in the offseason with Joe Woods came, you know, to the podium and said, you know, we're preaching turnovers, you know, and turnovers are, you know, the thing that wins games. And, you know, we want to give more opportunities to our offense. And, you know, all these players said the same thing, bro. And it was just none of that, gang. You feel me? Like, old buddy Joe Woods was saying that, that fucking Hezekiah Masses gave him shades of fucking old buddy Denzel Ward, bro, and he didn't do shit. Like, he just sat there and watched it happen. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm not going to put everything in the preseason. You know, the entire fucking defense can go in the trash can. You know, talking about trash can players of the week, put the entire defense in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Outside of maybe seeing Sloan and that other pass rusher. The other pass rusher looked good too, bro, that rookie kid. I don't know if I put his name down here, Patrick Johnson. He looked good, and seeing Sloan look good, bro. But outside of those guys, bro, like, it was shitty. I mean, Greedy Vance, I mean, in coverage looked okay at times, bro. You know how many tackles he missed, bro? So it just, overall, dude, that entire fucking defense can go into the fucking trash can, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, we talk about game balls and we talk about trash can players, you know, game balls, Jack Bech, Fernando. I mean, the entire starting offense could get a game ball. The guys who went out there with Kirk Cousins, they all can get one. You know, Fernando, Mike Washington. Who's your guys' game balls? You guys let me know. The entire starting unit, first and foremost. Like I said, Jack Bech, Fernando, Mike Washington. They deserve game balls. Cian Sloan, Patrick Johnson. Everybody else can go in the trash can, dude. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Charles Grant. Let me put Charles Grant there. He played well. But the majority of that fucking shit, the entire defense outside of those guys I mentioned can go in the garbage, gang. I ain't gonna lie. That shit was trash. That shit was fucking terrible, gang. It was hard to watch, bro. My eyes were bleeding watching that defense, bro. I don't care if it's preseason or not, bro. 5 for 5 for Jacoby Brissett, and then Minshew throws 11 straight completions, including 2 touchdowns, dog. Like, that was fucking embarrassing. Jerry said it's too early, but if the Raiders get a Super Bowl, I will get a customized Raider jersey with Brady's name on it. Zay said people keep saying vanilla, but they were in one-on-one situations all game and was getting washed. That's more telling than anything. If we were playing soft zones and I said it was just vanilla, but they weren't. No, bro, they was out there playing press man. They want, like I said, they said after the press conference they wanted to see who could play man. You know, and it did not look good. It looked borderline fucking abysmal. Like, it was not good at all. SoCal Sal said PG used to split the C every Sunday. Yeah, bro, his defense was terrible, dude. Fuck Patrick Graham. See, Frank Weber said it was vanilla against vanilla, so to me that is a lousy excuse. The secondary was junk against a bunch of jabronis. Very disappointing. Dude, a lot of these guys, Frank Weber, are going to be like exploring other options outside of football in like 2 weeks, bro, and they were getting smoked by them. Like, some of these guys aren't even going to be playing football. they're going to be working on their next career, you know, and they were out there getting fucking abused. It was not good. My opinion said we have been saying how bad the middle of our defense is. They need to listen. The middle of our defense has been a problem since the likes of fucking Tommy Kelly and like Kirk Morrison, bro. Shout out to Sacktown Raider Mike. I see you, bro. So yeah, man, it's you know, a lot of teams, the main mindset is to build from the inside out, and the Raiders just don't do that, bro. We like to draft corners in the first round when we have no defensive tackles. You know what I'm saying? Or draft a defensive end that's not very good when we have no linebackers, you know, so. It's just the story of the Raiders, my friend. It was base 3-4 the entire game. Greedy Vance showed up. Greedy Vance did, you know, play decent in coverage, but he was terrible. Dude, he missed like 6 tackles in that game, bro. It was not good. Joe Woods will be at the local Home Depot cutting blinds. And you know what's crazy, bro, is Joe Woods actually a really respected defensive mind in the league too. It just wasn't great. It's a preseason game. Like I said, I'm not gonna overreact, bro. The D was just as bad as Max rapping. That's not good, bro. Not good. Raiders defense was playing vanilla ice. I think the Raiders, there was a report came out said the Raiders were like playing a country song and like somebody cut it off and they got pissed off or something. That's what I heard yesterday. Sacktown Raider Mike said Quay Walker had a great game. Now he did look good, bro. Quay Walker looked everything that we signed up for when we signed him in free agency, bro. He was definitely solid. All right, so secondary is the biggest concern. So those dudes were terrible. Pass rush depth. We talked about Patrick Johnson, Cian Sloan. Those guys were decent. Definitely looked better than most of those guys that were out there with starters. You know what I'm saying? So, penalties. Raiders committed 8 penalties for 75 yards. Kubiak called the penalties the game's biggest mistake because they repeatedly created losing situations. Like we mentioned earlier, chat, the penalties were a lot of pre-snap penalties. Things that are discipline penalties. That's one thing that does bring some kind of hope because those things can be coached. You know, it could have been a nerves thing. I'm hoping it's a nerves thing. But we'll continue to see how the penalties improve. I try not to get too worked up about penalties, dude, because we're also one of the most penalized teams in the NFL for a very long time. So shout out to Zay. He said Saints fans wanted Joe Woods gone. His secondaries were always mid in New Orleans. Damn. That's tough to hear because I didn't really know too much about Joe Woods, bro. I just know he was a really respected mind in the NFL. But yeah, to see our Saints fans wanted him out and we got him, that's always a bad thing, bro. All right, so news to come out since Thursday, guys. The Raiders did just recently sign wide receiver Noah Brown. Noah Brown was with the Washington Commanders. If you guys watched the Commanders, I believe it was last year, I think they threw a Hail Mary. Noah Brown called a Hail Mary to win the game for the Commanders. He's bounced around the league a little bit. Brown's played 91 games, 38 starts. He's got 155 catches for 2,083 yards receiving. We also waived or released defensive tackle Benito Jones. Shouts to Benito Jones. Obviously, there was something there the Raiders didn't like, or they seen that they didn't like. Las Vegas signed former Texans defensive tackle Forlorenzo Futakai and placed linebacker Brennan Jackson on injured reserve. Futakai has 90 career games with 64 starts and 28 tackles for loss. So it looks like a big body that's going to be in the middle of the Raiders defense. So that's going to be encouraging to see what he can bring. Obviously, the Raiders didn't like what they saw from the interior of the defensive line Thursday night. Sunday's practice, Mendoza scored on a couple chunk plays to Jack Bech. So that's encouraging to see. Jack Bech was building on his preseason game on Thursday. So that's exciting to see. The Raiders practice against the Texans tomorrow. So we play scrimmage tomorrow, August the 18th. Official date, Raiders scrimmage against the Houston Texans. What else do I got here? What other notes do I have? It's pretty much it. It's pretty much all the notes I have. I got some questions for you guys. What concerns you guys more, bro? The penalties or the secondary? The penalties or the secondary, bro? He said too much. Gotta wait to eat up. Because the penalties, bro, like those concern me, but that secondary, dog, I don't know what the fuck they had going on. That shit was fucking terrible. Joint practice in Houston tomorrow. I'm looking forward to hearing how that goes. Yeah, bro, we gotta see how, we play. Because like I said before, bro, those joint practices, bro, those scrimmages, NFL coaches teach those or go into those like NFL games. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna have to go out there and they're gonna scheme some shit up and they're gonna see how their scheme matches up. Like I think Zay said earlier, bro, these wide receivers are gonna be tested tomorrow, as well as the interior of our defensive line. Like I said, I'm just waiting to see positive things coming out of the scrimmage. Like I said, the scrimmage to me is the most important thing than any of these preseason games, especially a scrimmage against the Houston Texans, who had the #1 ranked defense last year. They have, 2 bookend pass rushers that are 2 of the best in the league. One of them is, an all-pro with Will Anderson. Secondary is very respectable. So the Raiders offense is going to have their hands full. I'm not a huge believer of what's his face, the quarterback, CJ Stroud. Like I honestly don't think CJ Stroud's very good. So I'm not. It's going to be interesting to see how the secondary holds up against him. Hopefully they can get some interceptions on him. But yeah, man. Other than that, guys, I really ain't got shit else for y'all. I will be back probably. I'll for sure be back tonight. So Dirty's birthday is today, or I believe it's today or this weekend or something like that. Shout out to Dirty, bro. I'll be live with Dirty later. Probably going to do it on my Black Saturday channel, so you guys slide through for that. I'm going to be back on Madden here soon. I got to get some Twitch content up, so make sure you guys are also around for that. We will be live tomorrow doing Madden simulation, Raiders versus the Texans preseason game number 2. So just content that's going to be coming your guys' way, man. Once again, I appreciate everybody who came by the stream. You guys haven't already, hit the like button. Tell your friend we're 3 members away from 60 members, man. You guys have a great one. Until later on tonight, man. You guys know what time it is. Go Raiders. And I'll catch you on the flip. Peace.
This is a game psychologically of intimidation and of fear. I don't mean cowardly fear, but fear.
But the Chargers and all those teams.
No,
to be honest, I don't like any of them. I hate all teams.
The other team's quarterback must go down, and he must